Hello, it's your most authoritative news portal, the Joy News Channel, your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Good afternoon and welcome to News Today with me, Mapisa CBD. Coming up, Office of the Special Prosecutor will, beginning next year,
ladies and gentlemen, has
prosecute 31 cases pending before it, more as the office engages the media on work done so far and how it intends to fight corruption in the future.
Will in due course commence the prosecution in the courts of the cases it considers probatively strong.
Also, 80-year-old retired soldier shoots 2 children and their father at BREMAN in the Ashanti region. Why? We have the details. And in business, GOIL suspends its membership from the Association of Oil Marketing Companies as it fights claims of government interference in its operations. Details of these and business, sports, world news, including showbiz and more, all coming up in this hour. My name is Mapisa CBD. Great to have you here. In our first story, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, will beginning next year prosecute 31 cases pending before it. The cases, according to the Special Prosecutor, Kesi Ejaben, have gone through the necessary vetting and scrutiny for prosecution. Though he will not give details of the cases going to court, he indicated the office is ready to live up to expectations. He, however, warns the work of the OSP will be a mirage if funding is not released to the office. He was addressing a news conference to update the nation on work done so far since assuming office in August this year.
The OSP, ladies and gentlemen, has completed a review of all the alleged cases of corruption and corruption-related offenses before it. Currently, the OSP is investigating 31 active cases, and it will, in due course, commence the prosecution in the courts of the cases it considers probatively strong. There is no case commenced by the OSP pending in the courts at the moment. I inherited one court case, that is the Republic against Mahama Ayariga and another, which I discontinued in October after a careful scrutiny of the available evidence led me to conclude that the Republic will be unable to prove its case on the standard of proof required in criminal cases, that is, proof beyond reasonable doubt. On 5th August 2021, as the second Special Prosecutor of the Republic, I noticed that the OSP had not been operationalized, and it was without its own staff and necessary resources. The fight against corruption had, in effect, been thrown in reverse for 3 years. I immediately triggered the processes to set up and operationalize the office, to staff it with specialized trained personnel, and to fit it with the required material, resources, and equipment. By so doing, the fight against corruption has been resuscitated, and we will carry on the renewed fervor during my tenure in office.
According to Mr. Ejabing, the fight against corruption will be successful if individuals stop seeking their personal interest at the detriment of the masses.
The OSP will institute, as part of its Pressure for Progress drive, an annual Ghana Corruption League table to assess perceived levels of public sector corruption in the estimation of experts and business people. In aid of this, public agencies will be ranked against each other on a corruption barometer, and the results will be published every 9 December. The OSP will vigorously investigate and prosecute cases of alleged or suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses, and recover proceeds of such offenses through property tracing of tainted property and currency, in line with our vision of rendering corruption a costly enterprise. We cannot continue on the path of see no evil, hear no evil. Let us expose the evil of corruption. Let us eschew corrupt practice marked by undeserved attainment of wealth to secure undue advantage in all spheres of life to one of merit-based rewards. This is our sure chance to curb corruption, and we cannot miss this opportunity.
So, police station. Parts of the newly built station was torched by suspected arsonists just days before it could be commissioned. Residents in the area who have been travelling several kilometres to access police services earlier told Joy News the burning of the station, coupled with several
by personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service in one of the now burnt offices of the newly built Tebibiam police station. It is suspected to have been set ablaze by a known arsonist just days before its official commissioning on December 1, 2021. This is part of preliminary assessment.
Blackened from the smoke, the thick smoke that engulfed this entire room.
Assemblyman for Kweku Pamfo electoral area, Jonas Tenge, explains how the station was to keep a leash on a series of violent crimes in the area.
The security issue is not good over. People will come and attack a community and then they will beat them. So because of that, we call on the municipal to commission this police station for us. And
many of the residents here are shaken. They do not know what or who will be the next victim.
We are all afraid because all of us are like we are in.
This Kwaku Pamfo, we fall on Amasaman before they came and took the dead body. So that was the reason why we thought if the police station, which is our security
facility meant for the police officers within the Gastart municipality, and urging for their quick completion and operationalization.
All right, thank you very much. That is my colleague, Manuel Kranting of the security desk, giving us an update of that story. To other stories, some aggrieved members of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, National Association of Graduate Teachers and Coalition of Concerned Teachers in the Volta region have raised concerns over developments surrounding the One Teacher, One Laptop initiative. According to the members, leaders of their associations didn't inform them about the negotiations. Neither did members approve the deduction of the professional development allowance to procure the laptops. Addressing the press in Ho, convener of the aggrieved teachers, Matthias Tulasi, questioned the track record of KA Technologies. The firm awarded a contract to supply the teachers-made laptops. There's more in this report.
It's a duty of our employer to provide for all of us our working tools, and as such, laptops are of no exception. It is therefore non-negotiable for teachers to use their allowance or salary to procure teaching and learning aids. In the past regime, teachers were given laptops for free. And why wouldn't the same be done under the leadership of His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo? It is very disturbing knowing that our pension money was withdrawn and given to the so-called company. Again, out of greed and disrespect for members, they did so without our consent. The cost of laptop, which is 1,550, including training, maintenance, technical support, etc., has become chameleon-like. Inconsistent figures being bundled around raises serious issues of suspicion. It is not obvious the deal was just for chop-chop. Now that they have deducted a chunk of this money and used to procure the laptop for us, we want to know what is the equivalence in terms of points that will accrue to each teacher. Again, how do we now pay for workshops and other trainings yet to be organized? In short, deducting the laptop money from our professional development allowance is an act of criminality. We call on our regional council members of NAT, who are part of National Council, to resign honorably or face our wrath. The leaders at the district levels should be ready to face impeachment processes that we will soon employ to remove them from office. We are using this medium to call on all delegates to boycott the upcoming delegate conference or injunction placed on it with immediate effect until all issues surrounding these fraudulent transactions are resolved. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, we want to state the deal is very fraudulent and that all deductions made should be refunded to us with immediate effect. Amen. We will not allow ourselves to be taken for granted by our union leaders and government. We are therefore proposing to government to start paying us the professional development allowance on monthly basis beginning January 2022. Madam Philippa, Mr. Thomas Musa, Angel, aka Ivo Kabonu, and Ki Ali are now the cause of woes of teachers in Ghana. Yes. We call on all teachers across the country to join the fight against our union leaders as we demand what is due us.
An 8-year-old ex-military officer has shot 2 children and their father at BREMAN in Suo municipality of the Ashanti region over rent disputes. The children, aged 6 and 8 years, are receiving treatment at the Komfonochi Teaching Hospital. The father, Collins Kusi, says he was the target of the shooting, but the children were hit in the process. Nanaya Jema has more in this report.
The left ear of Collins Kusi is completely covered in band-aid. Wounds he claims to have sustained from gunshots are visible on his chest. The distraught father explains how the family was attacked.
10 minutes. I'm telling Papa na me no on the Japan na o jam pumachi what the danger mienu abo pumachi.
I heard a knock on my door. I came out to find the old man tie a red cloth around my windows. I asked him why. In a loud voice, he asked me whether he hadn't issued death threats at me before. He had a hammer in his hand which I didn't see. He then hit me with the hammer. I quickly struggled with him for the hammer. After taking the hammer from him, he went into his room and brought out a single barrel gun. He shot in my direction twice, but it missed me. I later struggled with him for the gun. Later, I heard people calling my attention to the children who were down bleeding at the point.
The threats were issued in 2019 after the demise of his landlord. Mr. Kusi says the suspect had demanded rent allowance from him despite being directed to pay the money to another relative.
The man who used to be the landlord told me to deal with one niece called Angela. So after 2019, when I paid my rent to Angela, this man has been disturbing me since.
The 2 children are responding to treatment at the Komfonochi Teaching Hospital. The suspect also sustained injuries after struggling with the father of the victims. Superintendent Emmanuel Esiama is District Police Commander at Swami.
The suspect was also arrested immediately after the event. He also notified police that he was suffering from his wrists and limbs because the victim used some implement to hit him. So as we speak, because of the injury that he also sustained, he has been hospitalized under police guard to receive medical treatment. We are praying that after the medical treatment, suspect will arraigned before court.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ochima, Kumasi.
Oil marketing firm GOIL has announced a suspension from the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. This was contained in a statement issued by the company. Judge Rafi has the rest of the story.
GOIL, in the letter to the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, noted that it has taken this action because of how it has been treated. It also describes the action as gross disrespect to the company and subjecting it to public ridicule because of allegations that it has been directed by government to reduce prices at the pumps. The public, according to GOIL, is also surprised by the stance of the association that has now found its voice and the audacity to allege that the government directed it to reduce prices. This because the association is also aware of activities of some oil marketing firms that enable them to
statement and add many other things that sends bad signal to the market was also worse, because even though Ghana government owns the company significantly. In fact, SNET boasts are significant shareholders of the business, and therefore, to a large extent, they are right by saying that Ghanaians own. But I don't think the objective of SNET is to invest in oil for oil to be subsidizing products at the pump. And therefore, that alignment has to be checked if indeed that is what is informing the actions of oil for subsidizing petroleum products at the pump. And if indeed they could sacrifice that much, 15 pesos per liter, and still stay afloat, then we have to check the market to be sure that we are not being cheated, right? Because that is really significant for oil to be able to do and others not able to. So those are the dynamics that we expect that the regulator will pick up to ensure that the issues that we have raised over the period and the behavior of the market is checked. And
fire was said to have engulfed this newly constructed building at about 2:15 yesterday in the afternoon. Eyewitnesses then started to call the fire service department to report the incident, but after the calls were unsuccessful, some of the residents went to the department office in the town to find out why the personnel weren't showing up as the fire was spreading. To their utter surprise, according to these residents, the personnel at the department told them they had no vehicle to fight the fire. Alhaji Abbas is one of those who claim to have reported the incident. I was informed about the fire outbreak by a tricycle driver, so I went directly to the office of the fire service to report the incident. Upon arrival, they told me their vehicle had broken down for almost 4 months now, so they are unable to come to our rescue. His brother, Ibn Yahya Idrisu, also confirmed this claim.
I was in the office when I had a call from my uncle, who is an elderly brother to the owner of this building, that one of our buildings at site has been raised by fire. So what I did was that to immediately stop what I was doing and then rush up to the municipal command of the Ghana National Fire Service to inform them about the situation. Unfortunately, when I got to their office, I was told they are unable to come to the site to give an emergency response to the situation because their fire tender has broken down for quite some time now.
However, Joy News gathered that the fire service personnel later arrived at the scene on motorbikes to assist a crowd of the community members who had mobilized and were fighting the fire. When Joy News got to the scene, it was completely a troubling situation as the fire personnel were seen desperately fighting the raging blaze, some with their bare hands without the fire tender and other firefighting equipment. With the help of the crowd, water was supplied on tricycles.
So we are now putting the laterite into the machine, the molded machine. And you can see this bucket is our gauge bucket that we use. So when you see this bucket, we are using the purpose for the gauge. Then you add a few laterite with cement so that you have the machine will be filled to its capacity. My other counterpart is bringing the lever to me for compacting. So you can see I'll hold it like this and press it 3 times, then it's compact. After that, I'll give it to him back. Lift it, then the molded block will be out. So lift it. As you can see, it's coming up. It's coming up. Then you are finished with your molded block. This is the way.
Maliko Shaba is a typical example of a building, 33-seater hostel, which was built with this material and has been in perfect shape up till now. If you look back at the way our forefathers used this material to construct Atakpame and those buildings, you know, there were a lot of problems with the structures, you know, because of the way they built it, and that has more or less sort of created some impression in the minds of people that this is a cheap material. And so when after a time the economy was improving and cement-based materials were now more in the system, people tend to look down on the material and saw it as an inferior quality. One bag of cement will normally produce about 100 blocks. You know, so per our estimation, one block will be costing around 1 cedi 50 pesos to 2 cedis. You know, we are of the feeling that with how far we came with the technology, if there was government policy to direct its use in the country, perhaps we could have solved many of the rural, especially rural issues related to housing, including even the issues about schools under trees, where we could have used this to build very nice pavilion for school children.
Youth unemployment remains a big challenge for Ghana. Initiatives such as Ghana Youth Employment and Entrepreneur Development Agency, Youth Employment Agency and Nation Builders Corps are among several other initiatives past and present governments have put in place to address the challenge. The problem, however, still persists. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kosi Yanki Aye, says the introduction of the Youth Start project will go a long way to augment efforts underway to tackle unemployment in the country. She has been explaining how the initiative works on the AM show with my colleague Enimoa Enim Ado.
The government of Ghana has designed a budget which states that it's going to support an entrepreneurial nation, a sustainable entrepreneurial nation, and has put the youth at the heart of the budget.
Okay.
Besides that, it's also looked at what ways are we going to build the youth at a time where globally, and it's not a current phenomenon, but now there's a close emphasis on trying to ensure that jobs are created for the youth, trying to ensure that youth can also start their businesses. So there are two things. It's the starting businesses, creating employment, and also building a stronger economy. And so the Youth Start program really targets the youth to help them start businesses, create avenues for employment for other people, and supporting the economy's growth. And that's what we intend to do with the Youth Start. Now, Ghana Enterprises Agency comes in this capacity to build the youth, because we also have the avenues and we have the resources to assist to do that. And a lot of youth, when they start businesses, don't have access to the resources. The financial institutions don't provide the opportunity for the youth to go in based on their criteria, and also because of what they've done fundamentally for a long time. And so this program is to create the opportunity for youth to get the resources and have access to tools and the needed capacity so that they can also start and support the Ghanaian economy to grow bigger. If you look at the Ghana Economic Transformation Program, SME support, government is supporting small and medium enterprises. We've been giving them access to funding. We're going to provide them with technical assistance next year as well to actually go into their businesses, to provide them with support and the resources to grow these businesses so they can also create avenues for employment for other people.
You're still watching Joy News today with me on Peter CBD. I'm going to take a break for business. And in business, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee has expressed satisfaction over ongoing road projects funded by oil revenue in the Greater Accra region. The committee is presently inspecting some projects, including the Flower Pot Motorway flyover at Spintex. The move is to ensure that funds from the annual budget funding amount drawn from the sale of crude oil by the country is judicially used for its intended purposes. Here's more.
It emerged that the Finance Ministry disbursed some 3.6 million cedis into the construction of the flyover from the APFA account in 2019. The Vice Chairman of the committee, Nasir, expressed worry that an insignificant amount has been allocated from the oil resources, considering the cost of the entire project.
Now, our problem with that particular project is that it means that we can't really point to a significant impact of the oil money on that project. And when we are mentioning projects that oil money should go into, it is too insignificant for us to say that oil money has gone into this. Even though we will see the quantum as 3-point-something million, in terms of the total project cost, that is too insignificant, almost negligible.
Will you suggest that they add more to it?
Now, what we are saying, and PIAC has always advocated, is that we commit significant amount of oil money into legacy projects. So if we consider the flyover as an important a project and a priority to us, let us commit as much oil money as possible to it so that significantly we can point to it as an oil project, right?
The team also inspected the 1.5 kilometers Akura power line stretch in the Linquantana Madina municipality, which was completed in 2018.
We need to work on our maintenance and ensure that where there are potholes, we act as fast as possible to ensure that the potholes don't develop into manholes. Forgive me for using the word manholes. But we do have some few potholes that we are hoping that the Assembly will take into consideration and ensure that whoever is doing maintenance here should ensure that all the potholes are done with. And that way we can actually say that there is value for the oil money that has been applied here. Interestingly, I also live just a few meters away from here. I never knew this was an oil-funded project, actually. But today I am being told that over 90% of the project cost that went into this particular road was actually coming from oil money. And to the extent that I'm a member of the committee, I think for this particular project, I'm extremely happy.
Officials from the Department of Urban Roads who took the team on the road inspection expressed satisfaction with the project.
Data collection and domestic revenue mobilization is one major concern of metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies across the country. Available data indicates permanent revenue collectors, as some MMDAs are unable to collect enough to pay their salaries each month. A digital revenue collection system is being promoted by the Foundation for Security and Development in Africa, FOSDA, and Oxfam to improve the situation. There's more in this report.
Studies carried out by international organizations have shown when the Internally Monetary Fund (IGF) is digitized, the systems will be collecting 83% of the revenue. According to FOSDA, 45% of youth businesses are taking steps to digitize their businesses. Most districts that have taken advantage of digitization are positioned to make the most of such businesses. Solomon Okain is a program officer.
From our perspective as an organization, from the dialogue we had last year, we know that Cape Coast Municipal Assembly, Shama Municipal Assembly, Sekendita Kradi Municipal Assembly have digital platforms, and they are making progress with that. And so MMDAs, even though not all MMDAs have the capacity to digitize the IGF system because of the cost involved, I can assure you, maybe you can go and check that the 29 districts in Greater Accra have some form of digital platform. I can talk about Gan East Municipal Assembly, I can talk about Wejagba Municipal Assembly, I can talk about Adenta, I can talk about Tema Municipal Assembly, who in the presentation I have achieved over 8 million Ghana cedis as of the end of September this year. And one of the innovation that is contributing to them achieving this feat is because they have digitized their IGF systems.
Assistant Director at Techiman Municipal Assembly, Joseph Frimpong, is convinced digitization will help in mobilizing more revenue.
Digitalization of revenue mobilization is very, very crucial. It's very, very important. And so with the Ghana card, that is the identification for the individuals, the property addressing system, and then the street naming, all these three coming into play will let us know who is supposed to pay, where the person is, and how to locate the person. And when we are able to gather all this, and then we are able to take people on, then definitely we'll be able to gather more revenue.
Districts with low IGFs are unable to undertake significant development projects and provide services that will improve the lives of citizens. Planning officer at the Mampong Municipal Assembly, Prince Edujenfi, believes lack of commitment from revenue collectors and other stakeholders hinders revenue mobilization.
Many a time in most of the assemblies, the revenue collection aspect is done by people who are of age, very old. And now looking at the digitization drive, where assemblies want to subscribe to modern systems of collecting data, it's become very, very difficult to utilize them. In as much as you don't want to also make them unemployed, you still need to also adopt to the new technology, and that's one big challenge.
Digitization of the economy has been touted as a growth pole for revenue mobilization in Ghana. Bilkis Mohammed's report read to you.
That's it for business. Up next is sports.
Good afternoon. Time now for Sports on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Disqualified 2019 Ghana FA presidential candidate Wilfred Kweku Osei has accused the football governing body of targeting him not to contest the elections because he was the first choice of delegates. According to him, the elections committee of the Ghana FA eliminated him with non-existent claims.
Delivered the policy statement at Alicia. I was overwhelming favorite. There is no way anybody could have matched the stride that I had taken. So many speculations were going around. This guy cannot even carry his views across, blah, 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 here and there and whatnot. But after that delivery, they saw that no, something must be done to stop Wilfred Kweku Osei. Otherwise, he's the candidate. The BNI came out with a report, and it had Wilfred Kweku Osei in the lead. I visited most ministers here and there and whatnot. I said, what is so special about you? I said, I have traits that humbles me before all the constituents or the electorates. I will never, never raise myself above those who want me to be their leader.
Why were you targeted?
Because I have what it takes to reform Ghana football.
But reforming Ghana football should be in the best interest of everyone. So if you have what it takes to reform Ghana football, why would people target you?
Nabila, it's not everybody who would like to be an agent of change. Some people resist it. Others will torpedo it. They don't want good things to happen. I can sit here when a policy decision is taken at the executive council level. I can tell you whether it's a good decision or it's a bad decision. The project at the GFA is not for, let me say, amateurs. It's a project that must be tackled with the best of abilities. It's not a straightforward job. When we're there, Kwesi will tell you this is not an easy job. So I knew for a fact that whoever would take over from the normalization, there was job to be done, not leisure. It wasn't time for leisure.
The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Usif, has called on contractors working on site ahead of the 2023 Africa Games to speed up work to ensure that the country will be ready to host the Games. The MP for Yagba Kubari constituency, who paid the engineers on site a visit, demands an improvement of the work done so far.
My suggestions to you or appeal to you is that you need to increase your workforce, your machinery, so that concurrently the 4 foundations will be worked on. I'm very excited today, but I would have been more excited if I've seen that there are all the 4 areas have been worked on, like the foundation you are working. I would have been more excited. So I want you to assure us that per our next visit, those 4 areas will be taken care of.
That is your sport for now, but we do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah.
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. Now, Alfred Benjamin Quintal, widely known as AB Quintal, has advised young entertainers to plan and take their time before hitting the limelight. Speaking exclusively to Joy News, the Moses hitmaker shared the importance of planning one's future in life.
You don't always get Avery Quintal to talk to, and so I am very excited and I'm very pleased that you could make time for me. Hello to you, sir. How are you doing?
Not so bad. Not so bad.
You gave us a really fantastic performance, out there. You're still strong at this age.
Do you like my performance?
I love it. I love the Moses story. I mean, why do you think people love the Moses story?
Anyway, it's something that I can't explain. Yeah, I can't explain. Next time I will explain fully.
Okay, but I mean, can you tell us a bit about, your journey through this music industry? A lot of people look up to you. Kofi Kinata, he looks up to you. What kept you going all this while?
Oh, well, you perform and you have to perform good for people to like you. You say, and your music have to be very reasonably, you understand, and enjoyable. That's it. That's why.
So we're getting towards the Christmas season. Apart from this show, do you have any other shows that you're playing?
Yeah, several shows. Yeah.
So a lot of
ahead of me.
Please bless us with your knowledge for the music industry, the young ones that are watching you. Bless us with some advice.
Well, all what I want to say, or I want to tell the younger ones, is they have to be very careful. Very careful. And plan well before they move. Yes, so that's all I want to tell them.
Away from that, Black Sheriff's second sermon remix has been released, featuring African giants Burna Boy to a resounding reception from fans in both Ghana and Nigeria. The trap song, which received a massive welcome by music lovers both home and abroad, was the second official piece from the camp of Black Sheriffs off his yet-to-be-released tape. According to the musician, he's very excited about the remix.
How did the collaboration come up?
I think it actually happened naturally. You get it, because Bernard reached out when he heard about the song. Yeah, he reached out to us on WhatsApp, called me, like we talked on video, said he liked the song. Like if he comes around, like if he comes to Ghana, we actually work on the song. But he actually couldn't wait. You get it, but he was on tour. He was actually performing in New York. He recorded it before the performance. That very day he heard the song, he gets it. And like he sent it back to us, we liked it, and we started processing on the song.
So Black Sheriff, now we played the song, and reactions from people is more or less, well, Burna Boy couldn't do too much. Did you have that feeling? Same feeling?
It is art, but me personally, I like the verse so much. You get it. So, and I think maybe it's because of the sad boys in the house made them come out town. That's why my people vex like that. But then bear with me, bro. If we do this, you get it. Yeah. But me, I didn't like this.
What did that mean? Sad boys in the house. What did that mean?
That second verse is actually like a star verse for my people, for my fans, You get it? And it's not in the song. So they actually vex about that. But me, I know about the understanding, and I understand everybody. But people actually like the verse too. Have you checked comments on it?
Oh, okay, now I get it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. Now I get it. So are we expecting a music video pretty soon?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
On that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News today. My name is Becky. Over to you, Maps.
Thank you very much, Becky. And that's how we end Joy News today. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Mapisa CBD. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.